Why do so many people seem to just vanish after 80? I'm not talking about disappearing into thin air. I'm talking about their energy, their sharpness, their presence. One day they're full of life, laughing, remembering details, giving advice, and then it's like something quietly dims. Even folks like Frank Sullivan, retired architect, chess master, the guy who could quote Shakespeare and fix your plumbing. By 82, he was a shadow of himself. Why most people will shrug and say, that's just age. It's genetics, luck. But let me tell you something, that's only part of the story. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on 5 hidden forces, quiet culprits that almost nobody talks about. These aren't your standard health checkboxes like diet, smoking, or hitting the gym. This goes deeper, slower, sneakier. These are things most people never even think about until it's too late. The best part? Once you understand what's really at play, you can make smarter choices today to protect your mind, your health, and your future. So if you care about your own aging or someone you love, don't scroll away. Stick with me, because these 5 surprising truths could change the way you age before it's too late. Before we start exploring simple ways to stay healthy and well, I'd be truly grateful if you could take a moment to like this video. That small gesture helps more people just like you discover these gentle, useful tips. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way, whenever we share something new, you'll be the first to know, and we'd love to have you with us. Now let's dive in. Number 1, the loss of micro-social engagement. One of the first most subtle thieves of vitality after 80 is the quiet disappearance of what experts call micro-social engagement. Now, I'm not talking about deep friendships or big family dinners. Those are vital, of course. I mean the small, seemingly insignificant daily interactions that used to pepper our days without us even thinking about it. Remember casually saying morning to the mail carrier? Maybe Mr. Johnson, who walked the route for 20 years? Or sharing a quick laugh with Brenda, the cashier at the local grocery store? Perhaps just nodding to your neighbor, Sarah, walking her energetic terrier across the street. Those tiny moments weren't just pleasantries. They were subtly regulating your nervous system, reinforcing your sense of belonging in the world, and keeping your brain's social circuits active and engaged. But after 80, things can change. Maybe ordering groceries online becomes easier. Perhaps hearing loss makes chatting with strangers feel like too much effort. Or maybe unsteady knees or just a chilly day keeps someone like my old friend, Arthur, 83, from his usual walk around the block. When these small social touch points fade, something crucial fades with them. Vitality. The interesting thing? Most people don't even notice it's happening. They think they're just simplifying life, making things easier. But what's actually happening is the removal of those low-level social sparks that stimulate brain function, lift mood, and signal to the body, you are still part of the living, breathing world. Type 1 in the comments if you recognize how these small interactions might fade over time. It doesn't have to be elaborate. I knew a gentleman, Mr. Henderson, well into his 80s, who stayed incredibly sharp. His secret? Every morning he walked 3 blocks to the same little coffee shop on Maple Street, greeted the same barista by name, and exchanged nods with the same 2 people reading the paper at the corner table. That simple 10-minute ritual wasn't just routine, it felt like lifeblood. It gave his day structure, kept him accountable, made him feel seen. There's a biological cost when this disappears. The brain interprets loneliness, both profound and subtle, as a stressor. This can alter hormone levels, increase inflammation, and weaken immunity. Crucially, it can start shrinking the very brain networks responsible for memory, attention, and managing emotions. Simply put, it can make you feel older, faster. So if you notice yourself or someone you care about talking less to casual acquaintances, skipping small errands, no longer initiating those brief chats, or starting to feel invisible in the community, it's time to gently reverse course. Those seemingly forgettable moments are powerful medicine, quietly telling your brain and body, you still matter. You're still connected. Number 2, overcautious inactivity. Here's another silent factor eroding well-being past 80. Something that looks like wisdom, being careful, but crosses a line into overcautious inactivity. The consequences aren't sudden, but they build steadily over time. It often starts with good intentions. Maybe a near slip on the porch steps, like what happened to my Aunt Clara, 81, or perhaps feeling a bit unsteady on an uneven sidewalk. So the decision is made: cut back on walking outside. Stop bending to reach things on lower shelves. Avoid climbing into the backseat of the car. Sit down more often and stay seated longer. Well-meaning friends and family might even applaud this caution. Don't push yourself, they advise. Take it easy. And before you know it, a life has been created that feels safe, yes, but is also increasingly still. But here's the crucial part no one emphasizes enough. When movement significantly decreases, so does strength. Not just leg or arm strength, but core stability, balance, coordination. That inner sense of physical confidence. Your body isn't a machine that benefits from prolonged rest. It's more like a garden that thrives with consistent, gentle tending. When activity slows to a mere trickle, things don't just stay put, they weaken. The core muscles, those deep trunk muscles, are often the first to feel it. Many don't realize how vital they are for everything. Standing tall, walking smoothly, lifting groceries, even just getting out of a chair comfortably. If these muscles go largely unused, even for a few weeks, they begin to shrink. And when the core weakens, balance inevitably suffers. A slight wobble appears, which fuels more fear, creating a downward cycle. Remember Walter, 82? The script mentioned he stopped his beloved evening walks after one slip on a rainy day. No broken bones, just a fright. But that fright was enough. He shifted from walking a mile each evening to mostly watching TV. Within 6 months, the impact was noticeable. Muscle loss, weaker legs. His doctor warned him, but the pattern had set in. Walter didn't stop moving because he was weak. He arguably became weaker because he stopped moving. Now, this isn't about ignoring genuine risks. Smart precautions are essential. Using handrails, wearing supportive shoes, keeping walkways clear, using a cane or walker if needed. But there's a profound difference between managing risk and surrendering entirely to fear. When fear becomes the primary driver of your physical choices, the body starts to forget how to move confidently. So if you find yourself doing less, not because of a true physical inability, but because you're afraid of what might happen, pay close attention. Ask yourself honestly, am I truly protecting myself, or am I slowly letting myself become confined? Staying vital after 80 isn't just about preventing falls. It's about continuing to move, even if it needs to be more carefully, more slowly, more deliberately. Movement is the body's language for remembering it's still needed. It keeps systems online, the brain alert, and the heart pumping with purpose. And if you're finding these insights valuable, let me know by commenting with the number 2 below. Your engagement really helps. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss our future videos. Your support allows us to keep creating content like this. Now let's continue. Number 3, disrupted sleep cycles from irregular light exposure. Inside each of us ticks a silent master clock, our circadian rhythm. It doesn't use gears, but it governs nearly everything: mood, metabolism, immune function, even how our brain cleans house while we sleep. After age 80, this internal clock becomes particularly sensitive. And one of the biggest culprits throwing it off? Irregular light exposure. Not enough natural light during the day, and often too much artificial light at night. You might not connect the dots at first. Maybe daytime naps have become more frequent, nodding off while reading in the afternoon. Or perhaps getting outside regularly has dwindled, especially during colder seasons. Evenings might involve watching TV late into the night or leaving bright lights on while reading. Each change seems minor, but collectively they confuse the body. When should it be alert? When should it rest? Natural light is the key regulator. Bright morning light signals, wake up, time for energy. Darkness triggers the release of melatonin, the hormone that gently guides us toward deep, restorative sleep. But if our eyes don't get enough natural daylight, or if evenings are bathed in the blue-tinged light of screens and bright lamps, those internal signals get jumbled. The result? Difficulty falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, waking up feeling unrefreshed even after a full night in bed. Energy lags during the day, memory might feel fuzzier. Over time, this chronic sleep disruption does more than make you tired. It can weaken immune function, destabilize mood, and increase the risk of cognitive decline. There's also the vitamin D factor. Our bodies make vitamin D from sunlight exposure, but our skin's ability to do this decreases significantly after 80. This makes getting regular, safe sun exposure even more critical for bone, muscle, and immune health. Think of Helen, 84, mentioned in the original script, who felt increasingly tired and disoriented despite normal blood work. Her doctor's simple advice? Sit by a bright window for 20 minutes each morning, blinds wide open, and turn off screens an hour before bed. Within 2 weeks, her sleep, memory, and mood improved. The solution wasn't a pill, it was regulating her light exposure. So if you spend most days indoors, perhaps with curtains partly drawn, or if evenings are screen-heavy, consider a shift. Try to get some natural morning light within an hour of waking. Even just sitting on the porch or near a sunny window counts. In the evening, dim the lights progressively. Help your body understand it's time to wind down. These gentle rhythms are more than just comforting. They are essential for biological organization. They tell your body, even at 85 or 90, we're still on schedule, we're still functioning well, we're still here. Number 4, emotional suppression from loss and isolation. By the time people reach their 80s, many carry a weight of loss that younger generations can scarcely comprehend. The loss of a spouse of decades, siblings, lifelong friends, perhaps even a child. The world offers condolences, but rarely acknowledges how these losses accumulate, not just as memories, but physically within the body. What often happens isn't just grief, it's emotional suppression. That slow, quiet habit of swallowing pain instead of expressing it, putting on a brave face because you feel you should be over it, or because there's no one left who truly grasps the depth of your loss. Maybe feeling like a burden if you share your sadness. But the body doesn't compartmentalize like that. Unprocessed grief, unspoken, unshared, unfelt fully, doesn't vanish. It gets stored. And over time, this emotional weight manifests physically. It can impact the immune system, digestion, sleep patterns, and hormone balance. It keeps the nervous system in a low-grade state of chronic tension. The hardest part? It's often silent. Outwardly, someone might seem perfectly calm, even say, "I'm fine." But if their shoulders seem permanently heavy, if their breathing is shallow, if that inner spark has dimmed, suppressed grief could be a major factor, even years after the loss. Remember George, 86, who lost his wife of 60 years? He was stoic, didn't cry much, insisted he was all right. But within a year, he experienced weight loss, withdrew from his senior center activities in town, and developed sleep problems. It wasn't a new illness. It felt like his body was carrying a sorrow it hadn't been allowed to release. Type 4 in the comments if you believe unprocessed emotions can impact physical health. Emotional pain doesn't need drama to be detrimental. By the time it surfaces as a health issue, the original emotional root might seem disconnected. What often sustains people well past 80 isn't just physical resilience, it's emotional ventilation. Having safe spaces and ways to express sadness, fear, loneliness, even anger. Being able to say, "I miss him terribly," or "I feel so alone sometimes," without judgment. This kind of release allows the heart, metaphorically and perhaps even physically, to breathe again. And when the heart can breathe, the body has a better chance to heal. That's why long-lived, vibrant seniors often have outlets. A trusted confidant, a friend, family member, pastor, journaling, a support group, creative expression, or even therapy to unpack long-held burdens. The form matters less than the function. What gets expressed can be processed. What stays buried tends to fester. So if you've been holding things in, perhaps unsure where to turn, it's vital to make space for those feelings. Not just for emotional well-being, but for your physical longevity. The heart can only carry so much suppressed pain before it starts to quietly, metaphorically, shut down. To live well past 80 requires letting the heart feel. Number 5. Gradual loss of daily purpose. One of the most insidious, invisible reasons vitality fades past 80 is the slow erosion of daily purpose. I don't mean grand, life-altering purpose, but the simple, everyday kind. The small things that provide a reason to get out of bed, a gentle structure to the day, a feeling of contributing or being needed, even in minor ways. Purpose can be incredibly humble. Watering the tomato plants on the patio before the Texas sun gets too strong, filling the bird feeder that brings finches to the window, writing a weekly email to a grandchild away at college, even just managing one's own medications accurately and on time. But when these small routines and responsibilities start to disappear, when mornings lack a clear next step and evenings feel empty, something inside can begin to power down. The body listens intently to the mind. If the mind loses its sense of forward momentum, the body often follows suit. Appetite might decrease, movement slows, energy wanes. Systems go into low power mode, not because they are broken, but because they lack a compelling reason to stay fully engaged. It's easy to miss because it's gradual. Maybe the weekly volunteer shift at the library ended. Maybe driving is no longer an option, limiting social visits. Maybe family, trying to be helpful, takes over tasks the person used to manage themselves. You might tell yourself it's just aging, it's normal, but a deeper feeling often accompanies it. The days blurring, a quiet sense of becoming irrelevant. Think of Ruth, 88, from the original story, more alive than many much younger. Her vitality wasn't from wealth or perfect health. It was rooted in simple, consistent routines that gave her days meaning. Writing postcards, making soup for the local shelter, watching the neighborhood kids come home. These small acts weren't glamorous, but they provided rhythm, connection, continuity. They told her she still mattered. Here's the secret few talk about. The body seems to stay vital as long as it believes it has a reason to be. Purpose, even small scale, acts like fuel. It signals cells to repair, organs to function optimally, the brain to stay curious. Lose that sense of relevance, that feeling your presence makes any difference, and the inner flame naturally dims. That's why vibrant octogenarians and nonagenarians usually have something anchoring their days. A pet needing care, a garden patch, a commitment to call a lonely friend, a simple creative pursuit, a daily prayer or meditation ritual. The scale is irrelevant, consistency is key. Knowing that when you wake up, there is something worthwhile awaiting your attention. So if you've felt adrift lately, like your days lack shape or meaning, please don't dismiss that feeling. It's more than sadness, it's a signal. Your being is asking for rhythm, structure, connection, purpose again. Because ultimately, longevity isn't just about the heart continuing to beat, it's about the heart wanting to beat. That quiet desire to keep going, stay connected, and still matter. That's the invisible thread carrying people vibrantly past 80. Which of these 5 points surprised you the most? Share the number in the comments. As we wrap up this important conversation, let this simple truth settle in. Fading after 80 rarely happens because of one single event, a diagnosis, a fall, a birthday. It's more often the result of a slow, quiet erosion of habits, rhythms, connections, and reasons to stay engaged with life. These changes can be so subtle, so gradual, that we don't recognize their cumulative impact until our inner light feels dimmer. But here is the powerful good news. Just as these shifts occur slowly, they can often be reversed, or at least counteracted slowly. One conscious walk outside today, one extra brief conversation at the grocery store, one small act of daily purpose, chosen deliberately, one moment allowing yourself to truly feel an old sadness. That is how you begin to gently turn the tide. Think back on the 5 unexpected reasons we explored. 1. Loss of microsocial engagement. Overcautious inactivity, disrupted sleep, light cycles. Emotional suppression, loss of daily purpose. Which one resonated most deeply, perhaps felt uncomfortably familiar? More importantly, which one feels like something you could address, even in a tiny way, starting this week? You hold more power than you might think. Not to halt aging, but to profoundly influence how you age. By staying aware of these quiet shifts, guarding your rhythms, nurturing your purpose, allowing your emotions, and choosing connection and gentle movement over fear and withdrawal, you significantly increase your chances not just of reaching 80, but of living beyond it, fully, deeply, and on your own terms. Thank you for spending this time with us at Elderly Stories. We truly hope this was valuable. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below sharing one key takeaway from it today and perhaps one small step you plan to take. Your insights and intentions inspire us and others in this community. Reading your comments genuinely motivates us. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with someone who might benefit, and be sure to subscribe for more conversations like this. Your support is essential and deeply appreciated. Thanks for watching, stay well, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.